And now to discuss more on this, I'm joined by Suchitra Bharadwaj from DD India Newsroom and John Beaver from Bristol. A very good evening to both DD India correspondents, and thank you so much for joining us here on DD India Sports First. John, first of all, coming to you, the best ball approach, it has totally collapsed. So what do you expect ahead of the fifth and final test from Team England, John?
Well, for England, it really has been a very disappointing winter, hasn't it? Remember, of course, England in the World Cup, they only won 3 of 9 matches. They were heavily tipped going into it. Very disappointing for them. They didn't make the semi-finals. And then when we come to the Test series as well, facing an Indian team inexperienced and depleted by injuries, England have really failed to deliver, as we've heard in that most recent report. England's batting has struggled in India. They will be hoping to put that right tomorrow. In terms of changes, there's one change in the bowling attack for England. Mark Wood is coming in. Ollie Robinson is out. Also in the bowling, we have Jimmy Anderson, the England bowling legend. He is 2 wickets short of his 700th wicket, so he will be hoping to maybe break that milestone. He's only now 10 Test wickets behind the late great Shane Warne, so he'll be hoping to overcome him from a personal point of view. But from a team point of view, England very disappointed with how they've performed in India. There were questions, especially after the third test, where England got an absolute hammering, lost by more than 400 runs. There have been questions about this tactic, this Bazball tactic, which sees them playing very aggressive, exciting, almost one-day cricket, even in a test match. Some people saying that actually you can't play that kind of cricket all the time, and that an Indian team really put them to the sword and taught them a lesson in terms of that actually sometimes you have to sit back and not be aggressive, and that's the way to win test matches. So there will be a lot of interest in this fifth and final test. But of course, as you've already said, England just playing for pride at this point. They've already lost the series 3-1, so they will be hoping for a better performance in this final test at the end of what has been a long tour of India this winter.
And after seeing the performance overall in all the test matches that we've witnessed so far, this is the fifth and final one, but in the first 4s when we talk about, and considering the performance and now the ultimate changes that England is coming up with, would they work? Would they be able to see the magic that England is expecting to with these changes, John?
Well, certainly England will be hoping for a better performance, won't they? Because they have really underperformed, is how England see it. Of course, the England players, the England coaching staff have been putting a positive spin on it, have been trying to pick out the positives. As we've already mentioned, some batsmen doing pretty well, some bowlers doing pretty well. But overall, as a team, they have been second best to India. India have been solid, if not spectacular, was how I saw it described here in the English press. But I think at times India have really shown the way forward, that when it comes to test matches, you have to build these big totals. You have to make sensible decisions with the shots you play to keep your batsmen in, to really build up these totals. And England have been punished on a couple of occasions with that. So England will be hoping that this change in their bowling attack, bringing Wood back in, that might be able to break down a few barriers, and that might mean that they can win this fifth and final test. But certainly they'll be hoping to go out on a high after what has been, let's be frank, a disappointing winter for the England men's cricket team.
John, we also have Suchitra who's joining us from DD India Newsroom. Suchitra, we are talking about the performance of Team England here, and they've made certain changes to improve their performance. But overall, first of all, when we talk about India's performance, and especially by the young lads, what do you have to say about India's team, the Super 11, which have been consistently performing in the first 4s?
Well, yes, Deepika, if we talk about India's performance in this particular series, the most surprising and the most, we can say, the pleasant surprise has been the performance of India's youth brigade. Beat the batters Yashasvi Jaiswal, Sarfaraz Khan, and beat the fast bowlers Akashdeep. Really impressed everyone with his performance in his very first match, and also Dhruv Jurel, who has performed with his bat, and as a wicketkeeper also, he has impressed everyone. So we when the series started, the odds were against India because India was going to play without Virat Kohli. Lokesh Rahul also got injured, and Jasprit Bumrah also took a break for one match. But the Indian youth brigade, they made sure that India did not miss any of the veterans, we can say, and they have proved that they are capable of filling those shoes for India. So it's a welcome change for the Indian cricket team, and the future looks really bright for Indian cricket because these youngsters will make sure that India will win series against any strong side in the world. And the way India has come back in this series, we lost the first test, but after that the bounce back has been remarkable, the way Indian team has performed, and we can say that the future looks bright for Indian cricket.
Indeed, and John, when we talk about the future of England also, first of all, it's going to be the 100th test match for Johnny Bairstow. But what are the strategies that England really need to work upon? The low lights that England need to look upon?
Yeah, so I think for England, I think they really need to decide whether Bazball is the way forward, named after their coach Brendan McCullum. They need to decide whether that is a tactic that they can keep using, that they can keep pushing ahead with. I think the danger is that although it's entertaining cricket, it gets people more interested in Test cricket, it maybe boosts viewers, it boosts press coverage. If they're not going to be winning these test series that they feel that they should be winning, then of course questions are going to start to be asked about that. But as we just heard there, England have been playing an inexperienced Indian team, missing some world-class players, and yet India have still won this series. So there are questions that need to be asked about the tactics England use. It will be interesting to see whether in this fifth and final test match they push ahead with it. You would imagine that they do, but you would then think that probably after this series there will be a series of meetings behind closed doors to work out how England push ahead and go forward after what's been a disappointing winter.
And also here, England would be looking forward to bow out with a respectable at least fifth match victory here. But Suchitra, when we talk about Team India, what are the key areas that India should also be careful of ahead of the fifth match?
Deepika, Dharamsala is going to be the only venue in this series where England will feel home, and rain is predicted for the first 2 days. So India, and Jasprit Bumrah is back, so we'll have to see how he fits in the team. India has the option to drop Kuldeep Yadav, but Kuldeep Yadav has really impressed with his performance. So to fit Jasprit Bumrah is going to be a problem, we can say, for Rohit Sharma, even though Bumrah is a key member of the team, but the way the Indian bowling lineup has performed in the last test match, it will be heartbreaking for any bowler to be dropped out of the team after that kind of performance. And also if we talk about the batting, I think Rajat Patidar has been the only batsman who has not performed really well till now, but the Indian management is giving him chances because we have seen how this combination of Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma, they have backed the players because they know he has the ability, and it's just about time he performs. So Rajat Patidar and Jasprit Bumrah, these two players will have to keep an eye on how they fit in the team and who gets dropped when Jasprit Bumrah makes a comeback.
Indeed. Thank you so much, John, and thank you so much, Suchitra, for joining us and bringing us a rounded perspective ahead of the